Have you ever felt like there's something about you that separates you from the crowd? Something invisible, yet undeniable in energy that moves within you, whispering that you were destined for something greater than the mundane. Today, we're diving deep into the idea of what it truly means to be one of the most powerful chosen ones. If you're here, watching this, there's a reason. There's no coincidence in the spiritual realm. You were meant to hear this message. So let's begin. As we walk through the signs, I want you to reflect on your own journey. Don't just listen to my words, feel them. Let them resonate in the deepest part of your being, and ask yourself, could this be me? The first sign is that you've always felt different. Not in a superficial way, but in a way that's almost unexplainable. You felt like an outsider, even within your own family, your circle of friends, or your community. Maybe you've tried to fit in, to walk the path that society laid out for you, but something within you resisted. It's as if your soul knew that your purpose was not meant to follow the herd, but to carve your own path. Think about it. Have you ever felt like your intuition was guiding you to things others couldn't see? Maybe you've been in situations where you just knew something was about to happen before it did. That's no accident. It's a sign that your spiritual senses are heightened. You're tapped into a higher frequency, a deeper truth, and whether you realize it or not, this is part of what makes you one of the chosen ones. But here's the paradox: this gift can feel like a curse. You might feel isolated, misunderstood, or even rejected by those around you. And that's because their perception is limited. They can't see what you see. They can't feel what you feel.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
Have you ever wondered why you attract people who need healing? Broken souls, lost minds, people who seem to drain your energy. It's because your light draws them in. They sense your power, even if you don't fully understand it yet. The question is, are you ready to embrace this responsibility? The second sign is that you've faced incredible challenges in your life, often from a young age. Pain seems to chase you, doesn't it? But here's the secret: the universe never gives its toughest battles to the weak. You've endured what most people couldn't even imagine, and yet here you are, still standing, still searching, still evolving. That resilience is proof of your power. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every moment you thought you couldn't go on was a test. The chosen ones are forged through fire, and the fire in your life has been intense for a reason. Take a moment to reflect on your past. Think about the times you've been knocked down, broken, and left in the dark. And now ask yourself, what did I learn from those moments? How did they shape me? You see, the chosen ones don't just survive their pain, they alchemize it. They turn it into wisdom, strength, and compassion. That's what makes you powerful. If you're still holding onto the wounds of your past, it's time to heal them. Not because it's easy, but because your mission requires it. You can't step into your destiny while carrying the weight of old scars. The third sign is that you have a deep connection with the unseen. Maybe you've had strange experiences that you can't explain, dreams that feel more real than reality, synchronicities that seem too perfect to be random, or even moments where you felt the presence of something greater than yourself. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that the universe is communicating with you. The chosen ones are always guided, even when they feel lost. Have you noticed how certain numbers, symbols, or patterns keep appearing in your life? These are not accidents. They're messages, clues that the universe is leaving you. The question is, are you paying attention? The chosen ones must develop the ability to listen not with their ears, but with their spirit. When you quiet the noise of the world, you'll start to hear the whispers of the divine. And when you hear them, follow them. Trust that they're leading you where you're meant to go. Now, before we move on, I want you to pause and ask yourself this: what if everything I've ever experienced, every joy, every pain, every moment of doubt has been preparing me for something greater? What if I'm not just ordinary? What if I am chosen? Let's go deeper. Being one of the most powerful chosen ones comes with both a burden and a gift, a paradox that can feel overwhelming at times. It's not just about the power you carry, it's about what that power asks of you. Have you ever felt like the weight of the world rests on your shoulders? Like no matter how much you try to live a normal life, something keeps calling you to more. This is the burden. But it's not meant to crush you, it's meant to shape you into the person who can carry it. One thing about the chosen ones is that they don't get to live in ignorance. You see things for what they are, even when it's uncomfortable. You sense when someone is lying, even if they smile. You feel the pain of others, even when they try to hide it. And the hardest part: you see the truth about yourself, the parts you love and the parts you'd rather avoid. This level of awareness can be exhausting. It can make you question everything. Why can't you just live like everyone else, caught up in distractions, chasing temporary happiness? Why does everything have to feel so heavy? But here's the thing: the chosen ones aren't here to avoid the weight. They're here to transform it. That heaviness you feel isn't a punishment, it's a reminder of your strength. When you stop resisting it, you'll realize that it's the very thing that's teaching you how to rise. The world needs people like you, people who can see clearly, feel deeply, and act courageously. But to step into that role, you have to let go of the idea that life is supposed to be easy. It's not. And for you, it never will be. But that's a good thing. Easy lives don't create powerful souls. Another thing about being chosen is that your path is often lonely. Not in a way that means you're always alone, but in the sense that people may not truly understand you. They might admire you, even love you, but they don't fully grasp what's happening inside you. They don't see the battles you fight in silence, the questions that keep you awake at night, or the way you're constantly searching for meaning. This can make you feel disconnected, like no matter how much you try to explain yourself, no one really gets it. But that loneliness, it's part of your training. It's teaching you something crucial: to rely on your own inner guidance. When you're chosen, the answers don't come from outside, they come from within. And the only way to hear them is to spend time in that quiet space where no one else can reach you. What feels like loneliness is actually an invitation to connect with the deepest part of yourself, the part that doesn't need validation, approval, or understanding from anyone else. Let's talk about another sign: your sensitivity. You probably feel things more intensely than most people. Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive or that you need to toughen up. But that sensitivity, it's one of your greatest gifts. It's what allows you to pick up on the subtle energies that others miss. It's what makes you compassionate, intuitive, and deeply connected to the world around you. But it's also what makes you vulnerable to pain. When someone hurts you, it cuts deeper. When the world is suffering, you feel it in your bones. And that's not easy to carry. But here's the truth: your sensitivity isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. It's what allows you to sense what others can't, to feel what others ignore, and to understand what others struggle to comprehend. The key is learning how to protect it, because if you don't, the world will drain you. You need to set boundaries not because you're selfish, but because your energy is sacred. You can't save everyone, and you're not meant to. Your role isn't to fix the world, it's to shine your light so brightly that others are inspired to find their own. Think about how your sensitivity has shaped your life, how it's helped you connect with people on a level that most can't, how it's guided you to make decisions that felt right, even when they didn't make sense logically. And yes, how it's hurt you, because there's no denying that being this open to the world can be painful. But would you trade it? Would you give up your ability to feel, to connect, to understand, just to avoid the pain? Or do you see now that the pain is part of the gift? Here's another thing that sets the chosen ones apart: you're never satisfied with the surface. You're always searching for something deeper, something real. The ordinary doesn't interest you. Small talk feels empty. Superficial relationships drain you. You want to get to the core of things, to understand why we're here, what it all means, and what your role is in the grand scheme of it all. This hunger for depth is what drives you, but it can also make you restless. It's like you're always looking for something, but you're not even sure what it is. And even when you find answers, they only lead to more questions. But this search, it's what makes you powerful. It's what keeps you growing, evolving, and expanding. The chosen ones aren't here to settle for easy answers. They're here to explore the unknown, to push the boundaries of what's possible, and to bring back wisdom that can help others. This isn't a path for the faint of heart, but you already know that. You felt the pull, the drive, the need to keep going, even when it feels like you're walking alone. And deep down, you know you wouldn't have it any other way. So let's pause for a moment. Look at your life with fresh eyes. Look at the challenges you faced, the gifts you've been given, and the path you've walked so far. Does it feel random, or does it feel like there's been a purpose behind it all? And if there is a purpose, what's stopping you from stepping into it fully? Because here's the truth: you're not waiting for the universe to choose you. It already has. The only question is whether you're ready to accept it. You've always known that there's something extraordinary about you, haven't you? Even in the moments when you doubted yourself, even when the world told you otherwise, there was a small, undeniable spark within you. A quiet force, like a whisper in your chest, telling you that you're meant for more. But knowing it and stepping into it are two different things. This is where many chosen ones struggle. The power is there, waiting, but stepping into it requires something that most people will never do. It requires you to confront yourself fully. Power isn't about control. It's not about bending the world to your will or making people follow you. Real power is rooted in authenticity. It's about stripping away everything that isn't you: the masks, the roles, the expectations, and standing in the raw truth of who you are. That's what makes you unstoppable. But it's also terrifying. Because when you stop pretending, when you stop trying to fit into the boxes that others have created for you, you risk rejection. You risk being misunderstood. And for someone like you, someone who feels so deeply, that kind of rejection cuts to the core. But here's the irony: the more you try to protect yourself by hiding your true self, the more disconnected you feel. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to shine so brightly that the right people, the ones who are meant to walk this path with you, can find you. And yes, that means some people will fall away. It means certain relationships, roles, and identities will no longer fit. But every time something leaves your life, it makes space for something greater, for alignment, for truth. Let's talk about another sign. Have you noticed how people seem to be drawn to you? Not just because of your kindness or your energy, but because they sense something about you, something they can't quite put into words. It's like they see a glimpse of what's possible within themselves when they're around you. This isn't a coincidence. Chosen ones have a presence that awakens something in others. You don't even have to try, it just happens. People feel safe around you. They feel seen. And sometimes they even feel challenged because your very existence reminds them of the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. This is a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Being chosen means holding a mirror up to the world. It means helping others see what they've been too afraid to face. But here's the catch: you can't do this for others until you've done it for yourself. You can't lead others into the light if you're still afraid of your own shadows. This is why your growth is non-negotiable. Every time you step into a higher version of yourself, you give others permission to do the same. But every time you shrink back, every time you let fear win, you not only hold yourself back, you hold them back too. Let's be honest. You've probably felt like giving up more times than you can count. This path isn't easy. It asks more of you than you sometimes feel capable of giving. It pushes you to your limits, tests your faith, and demands that you keep going even when the road ahead is unclear. But think about it: if you weren't meant for this, why are you still here? Why, despite everything, do you keep rising, keep searching, keep moving forward? There's a reason. And it's not because you're lucky or stubborn or naive. It's because you're chosen. And chosen ones don't quit. Here's something most people don't understand: stepping into your power doesn't mean you suddenly have all the answers. It doesn't mean you're never afraid or that you don't make mistakes. It means you stop letting fear control you. It means you stop waiting for permission to be who you already are. It means you stop asking, "Am I ready?" and start saying, "I'll figure it out as I go," because the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready. Your mind will always find a reason to wait, to hesitate, to play small. But your soul knows. It's already moving, already pulling you forward. The question is whether you'll trust it. You've probably noticed that the more you grow, the more resistance you face. This isn't a sign that you're on the wrong path, it's confirmation that you're on the right one. The closer you get to stepping into your power, the louder the doubts become. Not because they're true, but because they're the last line of defense for the parts of you that are afraid of change. Growth isn't comfortable. It's messy, unpredictable, and often painful. But it's also the only way to become who you're meant to be. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who seem to radiate confidence, wisdom, and strength. Do you think they got there by staying comfortable? By avoiding challenges? Or do you think they became who they are because they faced their fears head-on, over and over again? That's the path you're on. And it's not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming more of who you already are. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs you, fully alive, fully present, and fully yourself. You've come this far because something inside you refuses to settle. You're not here to simply exist, to follow the same patterns, or to fade into the background. That part of you, the one that keeps pushing, keeps questioning, keeps rising no matter how hard it gets, that part is where your power lives. But power isn't something you hold in your hands. It's not some external force that you reach for. It's the way you show up in the world. It's the energy you carry, the choices you make, and the truth you're willing to live by. The thing about being a chosen one is that the path forward is never clear. No one hands you a map or directions. You have to trust yourself, your instincts, your inner voice, your connection to something greater. This is why doubt creeps in. The mind wants certainty. It wants guarantees. But the chosen ones know that certainty is an illusion. The only truth is the one you create through your actions. Every step you take, every decision you make, shapes the path ahead. There's no waiting for the perfect moment. You create the moment by moving. And let's be real, not everyone will understand you. They'll see your choices and question them, maybe even judge them. This is one of the hardest parts about being chosen. You'll have moments when you feel like an island, standing alone in your truth, while the rest of the world moves in a different direction. But that's the price of authenticity. The chosen ones aren't here to blend in. They're here to disrupt, to challenge, to lead. And leadership doesn't come from following the crowd. It comes from standing firm, even when your voice shakes, even when your knees feel weak, even when you're not sure anyone is listening. The truth is, people may resist you at first because your light challenges their shadows. It forces them to see things they've been avoiding. But over time, they'll come to respect you, even admire you for having the courage to live authentically. And the ones who are meant to walk beside you, they'll find you. They're already looking for you. But they can't align with you if you're hiding, pretending, or trying to dim your light to make others comfortable. The world doesn't need comfort, it needs transformation. And that's why you're here. Let's talk about fear. It shows up in so many ways: hesitation, self-doubt, overthinking, procrastination. Fear will tell you stories about why you're not ready, why you're not good enough, why you should wait until things are perfect. But fear is a liar. It's not here to protect you, it's here to keep you small. Every time you listen to it, you give away a piece of your power. And every time you face it, you take that power back. The chosen ones know that fear isn't the enemy. It's the signal. When fear shows up, it's pointing you toward the very thing you're meant to do. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most alive. Were they the easy moments, the comfortable ones? Or were they the moments when you stepped into the unknown, took a risk, or pushed yourself beyond what you thought was possible? Growth doesn't happen in safety. It happens in the space where fear and courage collide. And the more you step into that space, the stronger you become. There's something else that sets the chosen ones apart. They understand that their power isn't just for them. It's meant to be shared. You're not here to hoard your gifts or keep your wisdom to yourself. You're here to use what you've been given to uplift others, to inspire them, to show them what's possible. But this doesn't mean you have to carry everyone else's burdens. There's a difference between helping others and losing yourself in the process. The chosen ones know how to give without depleting themselves. They know that their light shines brightest when they take care of their own energy first. This is why boundaries are so important. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. And that's not selfish, it's wise. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't lead others if you're constantly drained. Protecting your energy isn't about shutting people out, it's about staying aligned with your truth. When you're aligned, you become a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.